everybody, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and this is the start of my Thriller Week vlog. I've dubbed this Thriller Week, mostly because I own so many thrillers, just so many that I've never read. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm collecting them. I hardly ever read thrillers, but whenever I do, I find that I really enjoy them. And then I go, well, I should read more of these, and then I never do. So I've been collecting thrillers for years, and I have quite the stack here, and I decided to challenge myself this week. This is the beginning of October. Today is September the 30th, so by the time you're seeing this, it's going to be like the second week of October probably. But I've decided that I'm going to try to read 3 thrillers this week. I don't know what I'm thinking. I have a lot of things going on, but I am determined that I can do this. So I have a whole lot of thrillers that I'm just going to show you. I'm going to run through what I own. And then I'm going to hopefully, as I go through my stack, narrow it down to 3 choices. I hope I can do this. Okay, so the first one I have in my pile is Inspection by Josh Malerman. I honestly don't know if this counts more as a thriller or horror. I think I'm leaning on the side of thriller because that is the vibe I'm getting, that this is more of a thrilling story as opposed to scary. I kind of think Bird Box is more in the line of thriller as well. This is, I believe, about a school that these children attend. I think there's 2 schools, possibly. One for boys, one for girls. And they're very exclusive. These children are isolated. They don't know there's anything else out there. And then things happen. So that's really all I know. I also really like the color of this book. It's very pretty. Technically, this one is Sarah's. One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This is a YA thriller. I believe all I know is this is like The Breakfast Club with a murder. I would definitely have to say she took some heavy inspiration from The Breakfast Club based on the fact that we have the brain, the beauty, the criminal, the athlete, and the outcast. So I'm intrigued just by that because I love The Breakfast Club. It's one of my very favorite movies of all time, and I would be interested to see what was done here with I guess I would assume a modern version of The Breakfast Club plus a murder. I recently bought My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. I was just super intrigued by this. I saw Books and Lala talking about it as a recommendation for a thriller to read that be like just really twisted, and I love me a good twisty story. This, all I know about this is that it's about a husband and wife who decide to liven up their marriage with murder. And that alone sounds interesting, so I don't really know anything else about it, but I'm really, really interested in picking this up. I also have If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This is like a dark academia type of book, I believe, and it follows a cast of characters who are Shakespearean actors, and in their group of friends, someone is killed, and they have to figure out who did it, and which one of them might have done it. And I really enjoy when you bring in literature into a story, so like the fact that this is Shakespearean really appeals to me. I've heard a lot of really good things about this. It's a lot of people's favorite book. I'm very curious, and I would very much like to pick this up sometime. And for those who might have noticed, this was one of the options that I put in the list for books I wanted to do for the ARG book club. So maybe we'll still come back to this, or maybe I'll read it this week. One of the absolute best thrillers that I have ever read is Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. So I've been dying to read more of her books. And so I also have The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. Like I said, Fingersmith was fantastic. It was Victorian era, so it was like a little bit of historical fiction, but also just the craziest, twisty story ever. Like, I never knew what was happening. Like, every time I thought I figured out what was going on, she'd throw another plot twist at me. It was just a crazy ride, and I loved every second of it, so I really want to read more of her stuff. I know there's also a movie adaptation of this, but I don't really know what it's about. I'll read you the back. It says, one post-war summer, in his home in rural Warwickshire, Dr. Faraday is called to a patient at Hundreds Hall, home to the Aries family for more than 2 centuries. The Georgian house, once impressive and handsome, is now in decline. Its owners, mother, son, and daughter, are struggling to keep pace with the changing society. But are the Arieses haunted by something more sinister than a dying way of life? Little does Dr. Faraday know how closely and how terrifyingly their story is about to become entwined with his. Ooh, so I'm getting like Downton Abbey vibes, but like Downton Abbey with like eerie, murdery suspense. So this sounds awesome. There's so many things I want to read. I don't know how I'm going to narrow this down to 3 books. I also have Everything You Want Me to Be by Mendy Mejia. So this is about a girl who gets murdered and everyone thinks she's just this perfect girl, like she's really good, she doesn't do anything wrong. But they start to find out that there was a whole lot of stuff going on in the background of her life that no one knew about. And she had a secret relationship with someone online. And there's a lot of stuff that they're unraveling about her as they investigate her murder. So, sounds interesting. I really like a story about a person who on the outside seems like just an ordinary or perfect person, but then you start to find out there's just so many secrets beneath that. I love stories like that. I would say Gone Girl is a story like that. I also have The Devil's Half Mile by Patty Hirsch. This is historical fiction that takes place in 1799 in New York City. And I don't know, is this a thriller? This might be more in line with like a murder mystery type story, like a investigation. I think it follows a detective. This follows a lawyer who's trying to find out who murdered his father. So I love historical fiction, so I think like this would be a nice gateway book. I'm thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, and this I think is about the end of a marriage, perhaps? I don't remember. And there doesn't really seem to be much on the back. You'll be scared, but you won't know why. That's kind of a vague tagline to throw on a book. I don't know what this is, but I've heard good things about it. And it's short, so that'll go in my maybe pile. I also have Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. So I believe this is something to do with a love triangle, and I don't know much more than that. One of the people in the triangle might be a little bit twisted and murdery, so there's that. I just remembered I made tea and I didn't want to leave it sitting all day. I got me my scary mug. I bought a Pennywise. I don't know if you can see. It says come home. I made myself some tea while I go through all my thrillers. Tea and thrillers, they go together. I made, in case you're curious, I made some Fireside Chat tea. I'll put this up here. So this is Fireside Chat black tea. It's kind of smoky and chocolatey and nutty. Very good. I made a latte with oat milk, so that's what I'm drinking. Next up in my stack of thrillers is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This is one that I've heard talked about a lot. I think this is about an abusive marriage. I might be wrong, but I think that's what this is about. Yeah, that's really all I know about it. I've heard good things, but I've also heard really bad things, so this might be a polarizing book. I don't know. This might be my most intimidating book in this pile, and that's Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I have been wanting to read this for years. I've heard people say that it's amazing. I love the concept, but this book is a beast. It doesn't look like a lot, but it weighs like 5 pounds. It is super heavy for like no good reason. It's almost 600 pages, so it is a behemoth. They're investigating a murder that they thought was a suicide, but then their weird things start showing up in their investigation, and so you're following the investigation, but there's a lot of newspaper articles and images like this and emails and memos and things that help to tell the story. I've had this for a while now. I really want to read it, but I'm also afraid. I have I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. This is one that comes up on a lot of lists as very plot twisty. This is about a mother who's dealing with the loss of her child in an accident, and maybe there was more to the accident than what they believe. I don't know. they're investigating, I think it was a hit and run, and so there's an investigation about that. I don't really know a lot more than that, honestly, but like I said, it comes up on a lot of lists, so I feel like I should read this. This might be the one that's been on my TBR the longest, and that is Kill the Next One by Federico Axat. And this, if I remember correctly, this is about a man who's dying from a brain tumor. He's about to commit suicide because he doesn't want to go out slow and painfully. So he wants to kill himself, but then he's approached by a man who offers him the chance to be murdered instead. He must first kill 2 people, and then someone will come and kill him. So it's like some kind of weird murder pact, but maybe there's more to what's going on than meets the eye. It sounds really weird and really twisted, and I love stories like that. I also have Recursion by Blake Crouch. I loved Dark Matter when I read it, like I think 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, not sure. But I read Dark Matter, I really enjoyed it, and so when I found out he had a new book coming out, I really wanted to read this too. And it sounds like it's going to be just as weird and twisty as Dark Matter was, maybe even more so, because this one sounds more confusing. Where Dark Matter was about parallel universes, this one is about memories and what happens if we change them and things like that. So you're dealing with multiple timelines and the butterfly effect type things, and I'm very curious. So yeah, they're dealing with something called false memory syndrome, a mysterious affliction that drives its victims mad with memories of a life they never lived. So sounds really, really intriguing. This might be it. I think these are the last 2 books I have, and these are both by Riley Sager. I have Final Girls, and I have Lock Every Door. Final Girls is exactly what it sounds like. I believe it's about a group of girls who were each the final girl in a massacre, and they come together somehow. I don't know if it's like some sort of therapy group or something, but then they start dying. And so it sounds like, I love slashers. That's probably my favorite kind of horror movie. Like, I grew up watching like all of the slashers, and so this sounds like it could be a lot of fun and nostalgic and stuff. And then I have Lock Every Door, which is about, I think, like a haunted apartment complex. I don't know if it's haunted, but there's something to do with the complex and things happening. So it's kind of isolated, and like there are specific rules you have to follow if you live here, and if you break those rules, bad things happen. And so I'm very intrigued by both of these. Like, I don't know how I'm going to pick 3 out of this. I want to read all of them. Obviously, I own them. I bought them because I want to read them. I now have to narrow. What can I actually get through this week? That's the question. I'm going to need some tea. Let's take a tea break. Let me think on this. So I need books that will be really fast, because if I get stuck in a slow read, I'm gonna burn out and I won't be able to finish anything this week. I think the most I've read in a week was like 4 books, but they were shorter, so I feel like I should like try to put in what I think I'm gonna do the YA book. Okay, let me put my tea down so I can think this out. So I feel like I can read this quickly because it's YA, and for the most part, YA reads fast. I just finished reading Sadie by Courtney Summers on my Kindle at night, and that went really fast. So I'm thinking I can do this quickly. So, all right, so I think I've settled. One of us is lying. It's gonna happen this week. I'm also really, really intrigued by My Lovely Wife. Like, this book has been screaming at me ever since I bought it. Like, I think I might want to read this one too. So now I need one more. How do I do this? Okay, stop and think. Let's see. So I have a YA murder mystery, and then I have like a domestic thriller, I guess, because it's about a marriage. Would you consider this domestic, or is it because they're murdery? This is more like a psychological thriller. Okay, so I think I'm gonna say this is domestic. So now I want something different. I don't want to be reading the same thing over and over. That's the only thing that makes me nervous about doing this, is I want them to all be really different from each other so that I don't start just feeling like I'm reading one endless story. I don't know what to do. Okay, so the ones that I'm like seeing calling out to me the most from the stacks are the Riley Sager books. I really want to read both of these. Is that possible? Probably not. So which one do I want to read the most? I could really go for some Paranoia, honestly. I like a good story with a lot of like just not really knowing for sure what you're seeing and that sort of thing. Like, I see on the back they're talking about Rosemary's Baby and that sort of story where, like, you are slowly going insane, and I kind of like that. So maybe I'll do this one. Okay, all right. So, have I done it? Did I really just narrow them down that fast? Okay, so I guess for my thriller week, my thriller-a-thon, if you will, I'm reading One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I'm reading Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. And I'm reading My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. I've got my tea, I've got my books. I don't know which one to start with. I think I'm feeling like I want to start with One of Us is Lying because I can definitely finish this fast and it will make me feel successful. So I'm going to go ahead and start One of Us is Lying, and I will let you guys know what I think as I read. So literally just finished filming the first part of that video when I realized in my pile of books that I've just purchased, I have a thriller. Yesterday we went to Barnes & Noble. Sarah needed a book for school, and so we had to go pick it up for her because my copy is missing. So we picked up her book, and I walked around. We've got some footage I'll splice in here. And I bought The Wife Between Us because I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and now I'm sad because this might have ended up in my pile this week. But alas, it is not. Maybe I'll fit a fourth book. I don't know. This is about a jealous ex-wife who suspects something is going on with her ex-husband's new girlfriend, wife, I'm not sure, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. So it sounds really interesting. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. So I bought it, and I don't know, maybe I'll squeeze it in this week. Okay, so I am currently about 40 pages into One of Us is Lying, and at the moment, I've got to say, it's just not doing anything for me. I don't know. It's very much high school drama right now, and I don't know. I guess it's going to show my age, but I don't know if I care about all the high school drama stuff. There are other things I'd rather read. I'm only 40 pages in, so I'm willing to give this like another 40 to 60 pages and see if it improves. If not, I'm ditching this and I'm going to pick up The Wife Between Us because I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me to commit to the whole thing if it's just going to be high school drama after high school drama. I could just watch The Breakfast Club and skip the murdery stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it gets better. But right now, I gotta say, it's not really holding my interest as much as I'd like. So it is very early on Tuesday morning, and I was going to let you guys just know that I did, in fact, DNF. One of us is lying. I'm just not feeling it. It wasn't working for me. So I started The Wife Between Us last night. I really didn't get that far in. I think I'm only like 40 something pages in so far, but I like it a lot better. So I'm going to be trying to binge this today because I'm like, it's already Tuesday. If I don't read like all the things, then I will not be able to finish. So I'm going to try to get through. I feel like it's going to read fast. This is about, on the surface, it's about a woman. You're following the perspectives of two different women. One that her husband just left her for a younger woman. So you're following her and she seems to be really jealous and she misses him and she wants the relationship back. And you're also following the perspective of his new fiance, and they're both fairly insecure women, it seems like, and he obviously seems to be playing on that. So I don't know where this is going. I know that it's twisty, and I know that like what you see on the surface is not what you get in the story. So I don't know. I'm very excited to see where it goes though. So that is the goal for today, is to read as much of this as I can. We finished schoolwork and made lunch and all that stuff. So I just sat down and was reading for a little bit. Got myself some tea in my spoopy mug. And so yeah, so I'm reading, let me put my tea down. So like I said, I'm reading The Wife Between Us. I'm about 100 pages in. Actually, I think I'm exactly 100 pages in. And I have no idea what's going on. I keep thinking I figured out what's happening, but I think I might have an inkling of what the twist might be. I want to talk it out, but I also don't want to spoil anybody. So I'm going to try to keep this whole video as spoiler free as possible, but I can't promise. But so far, I'm really enjoying this. It's different from what I normally read, in that it's very much focused on this couple, or these two, this love triangle, I guess you should say. It's not really a couple. So it's focused on this love triangle, and you're trying to figure out what's happening. You're bouncing between perspectives between the two women, and you've got these two alternate storylines happening. One with one woman's marriage to Richard, and the other one at the beginning of their or almost their marriage. They're engaged and getting ready to be married. And so you're kind of seeing like both of their perspectives with their relationship with Richard. There's definitely something weird. Like both of the women perspectives have this like dark secret that you know that there's something there. You just don't know what their secret is, or why they have it, or what's happening. I definitely want to read more. I got to get some work done right now. So I'm going to try to work for a little while, but then I really want to pick this back up. But I really still wanted to try to aim for 3 books this week. I don't know. My brain is starting to stop me and say, hey, maybe you should do this over 2 weeks. But I don't. I have other things I need to read too. So I don't know. I may have bitten off more than I can chew, but we're going to try. I'm going to try. It's pretty late. So it's currently about 11:30 at night. I'm getting ready to go to bed, but I just wanted to do a quick check-in because I'm now halfway through The Wife Between Us. And I figured out the plot twist. Like, at least the first plot twist. I don't know. I probably knew about a quarter of the way in where this was going. And so I wasn't surprised when the first plot twist hit, which was disappointing. I like being surprised. I wanted that shocking, like, revelation. So that was, I don't know if it was just too obvious, or I don't know. I don't know if they like put me on guard by making me dig deeper into everything as I was reading, since it says right on the back, you know, you're going to assume things, read between the lines and all of that. So I did, and I figured it out. But I'm hoping that the end makes up for the lackluster beginning, because otherwise this is going to get a pretty solid 3. Because it's not terrible. It's holding my interest. I'm reading it. I'm interested to see where it goes. I just wish it had been a little more surprising, I guess. So I don't know. I'll finish it tomorrow probably because, like I said, I'm about halfway. I'm assuming the second half is going to move faster than the first half. Usually that's how it works. So I should hopefully be able to finish this tomorrow. But it's late. I stayed up late to read because I really wanted to try to get through this book faster. Um, we watched a movie tonight. It's October, so it's horror movie season, and my son and I are trying to binge a bunch of horror movies this month. And Sarah's going to be home in a couple weeks, and then she wants to watch a movie every night that she's home. So there's lots of horror movies happening this month. We watched The Thing, the 2011 version. I was excited because now it's late and I'm tired. The actor that plays Tormund Giantsbane on Game of Thrones is in it, and that was fun to see him as something else. Although honestly, he was still kind of Tormund in the movie, but whatever. Clearly, I need to go to bed. I'm getting silly and it's late. I'm tired, so I'm gonna go to bed and see you guys tomorrow. And hopefully, I'll finish the book and I'll give a little review. So now it is Wednesday, and I've just eaten lunch and made some tea. I am running really behind today because I stayed up so dang late last night trying to read the, the rest of my book, which of course I didn't read the rest of the book. I don't know why I thought I could, because I am not a night owl. So I stayed up late, I slept late, so my whole day is just out of whack now, but got some tea. I might film my wrap up today for, ooh, it's so dark in here. I'm sorry. Let me get closer to the window. So I might film my wrap up for September. I don't know. I haven't been feeling like I want to film it. I always feel scatterbrained talking about books a month after I've read them. So I don't know if I'm going to do a wrap up, but I was thinking about it. But I am going to try to read some more. Let me put my tea down. I read a little bit this afternoon of The Wife Between Us. I'm just over halfway through now, like 240-ish pages in. And while I'm still liking it enough that I want to know what's happening, I'm not feeling like this is a very shocking, plot twisty book like I was hyped for. I wanted something that was going to blow my mind a little bit, and this just, I don't think it's it. I figured out the first plot twist pretty early on, and so when that drop was made, it was just sort of, oh, yeah, I was right. Cool. I figured it out. Like, I don't think I was supposed to have figured it out, but it was just so obvious to me that that's where it was going. It just wasn't a surprise. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that whatever happens at the end is shocking. Otherwise, I would be super disappointed in this book. So I don't know. I'm hoping to finish it today. I think I can if I like really push myself, but I also really want to work on level 5 because I just want it to be done. I have a lot of things still to do for that, but I'm making progress. So that's always good. So I have just too many things to do. I don't know why I think I can do like these crazy vlog plans. I can't, but I'm going to try anyway. Anyway, I'm going to try to finish it today because I'm really more interested at this point in jumping into Lock Every Door. I've heard so many good things about this. I really want to read it, so I need to finish The Wife Between Us so I can move on. Because at this point, it's just like I need to just finish it. I don't usually do that. Normally, I would have DNF'd this at that halfway point once I figured out the twist. I would have DNF'd it, honestly, but because I'm doing this for the video, for the content, I feel like I have to continue. So let's hope it's better at the end. And now it is Thursday, and I just finished The Wife Between Us. And I've got to say, I'm feeling very meh about it. It was not great. I got to be honest. I feel a little bit let down. None of the plot twist stuff worked for me. I figured out the biggest plot twist, I assume, at the beginning of the book. And so when that dropped, it was not anything, it was no big revelation. The rest of the plot twists didn't feel like plot twists. They just felt like gradual, like obvious conclusions to what had been happening. So I just never felt surprised. This really was just a story about a bad marriage, and I don't know. It just wasn't great, and I was not that impressed. And I gave it like a 2.5, 3 stars. I mean, I was compelled to finish one because of this vlog, but also because I wanted to know what was going to happen. So it wasn't awful. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So for that, I give it a 3. The writing was fine, and I guess, the characters were interesting. Although I'll say I could never quite visualize everybody as well as I wanted to. I feel like they were all kind of bland people, if that makes sense. Like the characters themselves were never that compelling and interesting on their own. It was really the story of what was going to happen to them that I wanted to follow, if that makes sense. So anyway, I think I'm going to jump into Lock Every Door next, because this one I have really high hopes for, but I think the storyline sounds more interesting to me. Let me sit down on my couch so I can hold the book in my lap and read you the synopsis, which I don't really want the whole synopsis, but I want enough to give me an inkling of what I'm getting into. So this looks like it's a story about a woman who moves into this new apartment complex, and it seems too good to be true, but there's a lot of rules that you have to follow, and it's very strict about those rules. And if you don't follow the rules, bad things will happen, I guess, is what I'm gathering based on this. And apparently all the residents who live here are rich and famous, so it's very like elite and all of that stuff. So I don't know, I'm very intrigued. I've heard lots of great things about Riley Sager and his books, and so I'm very interested to see where the story goes. I'm going to start working on level 5 stuff now and try to get some of that knocked out, because I'm feeling like I'm making good progress and I just want it to be done so that I can like relax. But then I'm going to read Lock Every Door. I'm kind of almost given up that I'm going to get to all 3 books this week. I think I can finish this by the end of the weekend, and then I'll probably just wrap up after reading 2 thrillers. I will check back in once I've started Lock Every Door, and I'll let you know my thoughts. I really hope it's better than The Wife Between Us, because if I end up reading another bland thriller, I might never pick up another thriller. I know there are good ones out there. So if you guys know some really excellent plot twisty thrillers that don't just rely on obvious tropes about bad marriages, like I guess I don't want to read that. I don't know. They all feel the same. Like, to be honest, The Wife Between Us felt like a carbon copy almost of Girl on the Train, which I thought was also very blah and not very plot twisty. So I want some good twisty thrillers. Like, I want my mind to be blown. That's all I ask of a thriller, is blow my mind, make me question everything I've read. Like, I really want that experience. So that's what I'm looking for. I hope I find it here. I just finished the first 5 chapters of Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, and so far I'm going to say I really like it. I like this a lot better than I did The Wife Between Us. I feel like this is more my kind of book, where instead of it being like all about a bad marriage, which seems to be a thing in thrillers, this is more of a what's going on here kind of story, where you know that there's something wrong with the situation, You just don't know quite what is wrong with the situation, and neither does the protagonist of the story, and that's what makes it fun. So not a whole lot has happened yet in the story. She's just now moving into this new apartment building where she's gonna get this job of a lifetime opportunity, basically, where she gets to live in this luxury apartment for 3 months and get paid money to live there. And that's it. That's the job. It's under the table, so it's a little bit fishy, and maybe something's not quite right, and there's some strange rules that she has to follow, so the things are not quite what they seem to be. So it's good, and the chapters are pretty short, so it'll read pretty quick, I think. So I'm hoping to get this done maybe even tomorrow. I don't know. Tomorrow's going to be a crazy day, but I think I can fit in some extra reading time too. So that is the plan. I'm probably going to read some more this evening, but right now I'm going to go and watch a horror movie with my son. I don't know what we're watching tonight. We're gonna go explore our options on demand. I'm in the mood for a good slasher, but we'll see. So today is Friday, and I don't know, my vlog is not going as planned. I really wanted to try to get 3 books read this week, and so far I've only done one and a little bit of this one. So I don't know. And I know I'm gonna have a busy weekend. So I don't know how much reading I'm gonna be able to actually fit in. I really wanted to finish it this weekend though, so I could wrap up this whole project as my week with thrillers. But I am currently about 90 pages in, and I'm really liking this. This might be one of my favorites of the year thus far, and I'm assuming it's only gonna get better because right now it's getting really good. I'm really interested to see where this goes because I like the whole paranoia vibe that it has of you don't really know what's wrong with this place, but there's definitely something wrong and weird things are happening. And so I really want to know what happens next. So I'm hoping I can fit in some reading tonight and get a good chunk of this done because I barely had any time to read this morning, even though I thought I would because I got up early. It just didn't happen. I'm going to try to read more of this tonight, and I'm going to try to check in tomorrow. We're going to pick up Sarah and bring her home for the weekend because Sunday we're going to go see Felicia Day. I might vlog a little bit of that at the tail end of this because we're excited because her new book comes out, or it already came out, and so we pre-ordered it through that store, and we're gonna go pick it up and have her sign it, and it's gonna be great. So that's gonna be our adventure for Sunday. So you have that to look forward to. So there will be at least something interesting in this vlog besides just me drinking tea ranting about thrillers. So we just got back from the porch sale, and I thought I'd show you the few things that I decided to keep. Most of what we bought is going into store inventory, but I did get some treats for me. So I have found a copy of The Night Circus, which I've never read, but Sarah tells me I must. So now I have a copy of that. I picked this up for Sarah because it just looked like a book she would need. And she agrees. So I think it's middle grade. I don't really know what this is. Sarah, do you know what this is?
It's a creepy doll.
I don't know. Creepy doll book. So that's all she needs to know. And then I got a new copy of the Westing game because I have a copy of it, but it's really old. And this one looks so much nicer. So I thought I would just replace my copy. I saw this and got excited because I've heard so many people talking about My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I don't even know really what it is beyond like a family saga, I think, or maybe a friendship saga. I don't know, but I've heard a lot of people talking about the series, and so I picked up a copy because I was curious. Likewise, I got this Sacred Hearts by Sarah Denant, and I don't know anything about this book, but it looked pretty, and it takes place in 1570, and it says that it's a tale of political intrigue, and that's really basically all I need to know to want to read a historical fiction book. It sounds pretty cool, so I was looking forward to that. Oop, and now I'm dropping things. I also found this copy of I, Elizabeth by Rosalind Miles, which is another book and author I've never heard of, but apparently she wrote the Guinevere trilogy, which also sounds like something I need. But I thought this was fun because whoever owned this included a printed out copy of the Tudor succession, like family tree, to go with the book. So I thought that was pretty handy. I also got Eliza Hamilton, and I've read a few other Hamilton related books and haven't really enjoyed them, but I might find one I like. So I thought I would give this one a try. And I also grabbed this picture book because I thought it was cute. It's The Hanukkah Guest by Erica A. Kimmel, but what mostly made me grab it was the bear, because when I was a kid, we didn't have Santa Claus. We had the Hanukkah bear that my grandmother invented, and that was our thing. So I don't think that's what this is about, but it made me think of that. So I don't really have anyone to read picture books with anymore, but it looked really cute. So I got it. I'll read it to myself. So that's my small library sale haul. So I finished. And I really liked it. I like this a lot better than The Wife Between Us. This is so much more my kind of a thriller. I did not guess the ending. That took me by surprise. I didn't figure out the ending, but I really liked getting there. This story, I don't know how to explain it without giving too much away, but it's basically a girl who has no one in her life, gets the opportunity to live in this amazing, fabulous apartment, and she gets paid to do it with a stupid amount of money, and of course she says yes to that because who wouldn't? And strange things happen, and she becomes suspicious of this too good to be true opportunity, as you should. I really like this a lot. I give it 4 stars, like 4.5 stars. I'm gonna wrap up here. This was my 2 thrillers. This was not the 3 books I thought I would get through, but you know, life. It's hard to read 3 books in a week, so I read 2 books this week, and I really didn't like this one. Apparently, domestic thrillers are just not for me. I loved Gone Girl, so I expected that I would like other books like that, but I have not found anything as good as Gone Girl in like the domestic thriller category. So I don't know that I'll enjoy that kind of story, apparently, about marriage has gone bad and that sort of thing. So this was just not for me. I don't think that I'm going to try too many other domestic thrillers unless you think there's one that I absolutely need to read. But I just don't know that that's a thing that I like. But this kind of thriller, just the twisty, turny, gothic, like bad things happening and the paranoia and not knowing who you can trust and that sort of thing, I really enjoyed. So this is definitely a book that I like, and I will absolutely try some other Riley Sager books. I own Final Girls, which you saw earlier in this video, so I'll probably read that sometime soon. But I guess there's another one too. What is his other book? Yeah, The Last Time I Lied is his other book that I don't own and I know nothing about, so maybe I should look that up sometime. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because this is probably another stupidly long video that I'm not going to enjoy editing. But you got to come along with me to several bookstores. I was just joking today that this has been the most book shopping I've done in a week, and I just happened to be vlogging, so you got to come along with me. So that was fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If there are any thrillers you think I absolutely need to read, especially if there's ones that I've already talked about in this video and I already own, please tell me what I should pick up, because I really want to read some more of the books I already own, and I'm always open to new recommendations. So let's chat about thrillers in the comments. What is the best thriller you've ever read? Let me know down below and I will have to check it out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye!